Hockey IQ for a goaltender can be summed up in getting to your spots. Being in the right position. We use the acronym PAD, position, angle, depth. Okay? Understanding square, under square, over square, your angle, your depth, A, B, C, D, right? Your position, butterfly, RVH, standing, whatever. It's putting those together. And it seems pretty simple, pad, position, angle, depth. But that's goalie sense. Understanding when to be out, when to be back, when to be up, when to be down, when to be square, when to be under square. Understanding all those things, and the only way you get better at that is by playing games. Goalies have to play games. It's the biggest stat qualifier for a goaltender. You got to play games. And I could go an hour on why. But anyways, games played, very important. So now, how do you also augment games played? Watching the game. Watching clips. So therefore, when something happens in a game, we're able to anticipate. We're able to anticipate because you've seen it before. When you're driving a car and there's a car up to your right, and then just something, you couldn't even tell me why, but you're like, he's about to cut me off. And instinctively, you're able to read how the car is moving. Maybe you subconsciously saw the driver turn his head. Maybe the car had a quick little movement and back, but something told you, oh yeah, he's about to come in my lane. It's the same thing when you're reading a play. It may not be conscious, but subconsciously, because you've seen it so many times, you're able to read, anticipate what's going to happen. It's still the same game. So it's still the same mental game, whether it's a tennis player, whether it's a quarterback or a pitcher or a goaltender, the position that we play. And I think that for the development or for the evolution of that mental game is that before it was something that wasn't discussed and it wasn't worked on. So I think what you're seeing now is there's a calculated approach, and there's a system and protocols and there's resources in place to help goaltenders work on their mind game, on the mental part of the game. One of the things that I realized very quickly when I was scouting for the Toronto Maple Leafs was, I could be in the rinks all day long and I could watch these guys perform. And it was easy to see what they could do physically on the ice. But the hard thing was really to understand their mindset and their resiliency and their strength to be able to endure the ups and downs of goaltending. And it's very hard to see that when you scout a game. You're just watching somebody on the ice. So, there's so much discussion about, well, why out of an average of 24 draft picks a year for goalies, why do only 4.5 make it out of 24 picks? And why is it that the goalie scouts aren't better? Because the mental game, what the goaltender brings from a mindset perspective, a mental perspective, far outweighs what they can do physically. So we're all out there looking at these guys physically, and now we're spending a lot more time on the mental part and their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to their mental game. We talk all the time about flipping a switch. You have to have the ability to flip the switch. So when it's time to perform, you flip that switch, distractions go away, and you are dialed in. And then you also have to have the ability to turn the switch off. A lot of guys can't turn it on and off quickly. So therefore, you think about a game. You can't stop a puck when no one's shooting at you. You can't, Joey says it all the time, you can't stop a puck driving to the game, you can't stop a puck in the locker room, you can't stop a puck in between periods, you can't stop a puck during TV timeouts. So it's the ability to understand when that switch has to be turned on and when to turn it off. So now you think about the guys that have trouble with that. Those are the guys that turn that switch on way before the game starts. And therefore, they're burning mental calories, to use a Pete Fry term, mental calories, leading up to the game. So they're burning energy. And then it's the guys that can't turn it off after the game. So think about it. They can't just shut that game. Okay, the game's over. I can't do anything about it now. I can't stop any more pucks in that game. Can I flip the switch off? And then can I go on with the rest of my life and be a normal human being? So the goalies that have a hard time are the guys that switch on that switch way too early, and it takes too long for them to switch it off. And the other part that I'd say from a mental part of the game is that resiliency factor. Goaltending's hard. It's really a difficult position. And it's a difficult position because, I'm going to say generically, most goalies are good guys. And they care about their teammates, they care about their coaches, they care about the organization. Maybe it's a school they represent, or a pro team they represent, or a junior team they represent. They care about that team, so therefore, they want to help. And if they're not on their A game, they're not helping. And that's really hard. If you want to help your teammates and you want to help your team win, and you're not doing that, that's really hard to deal with. And it's those guys that are able to compartmentalize that, understand for what it is, and understand that the old expression, be where your feet are, in goalie world, be where your skates are. It's the ability to understand that, guess what? I can't do anything about what has happened. But I can do that today, in this moment. And if they can block that, don't let one goal turn into two. Don't let one bad game turn into two bad games. Don't let a bad week turn into two bad weeks. Those are the guys that have that, right? That ability to be able to, guess what? I'm going to be where my feet are right now. I'm going to concentrate, and it's irregardless of what happened before, and it doesn't matter what's going to happen next, because the one thing that goalies have to understand is you always have to prove yourself, and it never ends. When I was first presented way back when with Sense Arena, I didn't think much of it, and they showed it to me on a computer. So they gave me a little demo on the computer what it's going to look like, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then a few months later, Bob brought me down to one of the locations, and I put the headset on. The minute I put the headset on, I knew what a valuable tool it was going to be. But it's hard to explain to someone that hasn't put the headset on and hasn't done it. The other thing that is going to be really hard to believe, as a professional goalie coach, you're working with an NHL team, an AHL team. There's probably only 3 players on the team that can warm up a goalie. And you'd say, bull crap, Dak. Like, that's not possible. These guys are elite athletes. They're at the highest level. No. There's like 3 guys that can stand still at a particular area and hit the same spot like a boning machine over and over again. There's only a few guys on every team that can do that. Most guys can't sit still. They got to move. They got to do something. They can't hit the same spot. Now, they're skating full speed down the ice, take a look high glove and blast one high glove. Yeah, they can do that, right? But can they just, in a confined, dictated drill, be able to hit the same spot because you're working on a particular skill for the goaltender? It's very hard. Sense Arena does that. You can manufacture, you can put exactly where you want the shot to be. So if you're working, you're tracking into the glove, and you don't want that glove to come back, and you don't want that glove to move before the save. So you can sit there and go, okay, I'm gonna have a quiet glove. I'm gonna watch that puck go in, and I'm gonna have that right tracking movement with my head. I'm gonna keep that glove out here. I'm gonna get rid of the little twitch that I have in my glove. I'm not gonna let that shoulder come back. All these things that you wanna work on, now you've got Sense Arena that's gonna put that glove shot exactly where you want it over and over, because it's the repetition, that muscle memory of learning how to do that correctly. That's what you need to do as a goaltender.